Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Friends Podcast, man. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Matt, and I'm here with my two
Mm-hmm.
co-hosts.
What's up, y'all? It's Jermayne.
And that's Rod. This is the Friends Podcast. Make sure you check us out. We're streaming everywhere. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and also make sure you go check out our shop. We got a limited item, the rug, that's gonna be out. Make sure you go check that out. And also we got shirts and stickers on there.
So, I got a question for you guys. Curious to get your opinion on. If, let's say, you were single and somebody was going to set you up with somebody that they thought you would be a good match with, would you rather it be a male friend who set you up or one of your female friends?
I would say a female friend, to be honest, because my male friends don't really know who I am, to be honest. Like it's only so many conversations and certain conversations you can have with male friends. But I feel like my women friends is like they know who I am inside and out. You know what I mean? Like, I can't really explain it, but like in an emotional way, like we might talk about something emotional. We just might have different topics that we talk about. Like all men really talk about is like women, sports, music, life, going to the drinking, smoking and shit. Like we don't really be talking about shit, to be honest. So yeah, I would want my and I say that because my female friend might know who I would be compatible with versus our conversations versus my conversation with my male friends was like, oh, she bad, she fine, she like is that's the only connection. Like, oh, she's fine. I'm gonna set him up with Matt versus what my woman friend could do. So that's my answer. I know it's long winded, but that's what I would say on that one. What y'all say?
What you, Rod?
I just whoever knows me best, I'll give pretty much anyone a chance, I guess. I mean, of course, the first question definitely like let me see a picture first, but other than that,
whose opinion do you think you would trust more in the looks? Like, yes, you would want to see a picture regardless, but would you think a female friend would have a better idea of what an attractive woman is, or like a man, another man?
I just wouldn't trust. I don't know. I wouldn't trust anyone, like male or female. I'd be like, let me see. Like, I don't know. Like everyone has a different taste.
I don't know. I think I would rather a man set me up instead of another woman. I feel like it says a lot more for a man to be like, yo, this is a good guy, than for a woman to say that. Women can be somewhat, in terms of relationships and like trying to set you up, I feel like can be somewhat surface level. Like, oh, he's, got a certain job or he makes a certain amount of money. Like, I think it's sometimes like very basic stuff like that. But I feel like a man typically would only really set you up with somebody who he actually felt like, yo, this is a good guy. Like, he's not about to cheat on you, break your heart. He's not about to like treat you bad, because I feel like as a man, you know what men have the potential to do. So if it's like your female friend and it's like really your friend, you're not going to like set her up for that. So I'll probably take a man's opinion first.
I mean, we be lying sometimes too. Like sometimes as men, we don't hold our friends accountable for the fuck shit that they be doing. Sometimes we might be like, yo, like, yeah,
talk about it.
My man's right here, like, yo, like you would go great with him, but at the same time, that nigga like don't take care of his kids. He, like other different types of things that are unfavorable. You know what I mean? So
that was a good point.
I don't think it's really even that deep. Like if you have a single friend and another person is a single friend, you just I don't know, you just introduce each other and just let them figure it out. So I don't need to know too much, I feel like.
I'm about to say I need to know everything first. I need so I can make a decision. Like I need to know like what's their credit score, like what kind of car they drive. Is her car dirty? Like
is her house dirty?
Is her house dirty? Like how is she clean? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things I need to know before I even try to like put my energy into that.
Hell yeah. Especially too, because if it's somebody that your friend sets you up with, the friend is all invested. So they want to be like, well, what happened? You guys go out? You guys still talking? So to take on that risk, yeah, it better be somebody I'm actually gonna like.
And see that you just mentioned something that's important. It's very important. I don't want nobody to set me up with nobody, because I don't want that burden of like, oh, what happened with you? Like, I don't even want to have to explain that. I don't want it to get in between me and their relationship, or it to get in between their relationship, like the person that they set me up with. Like, I don't even want that to happen, because it's a lot of complications that go into that. and so I would just like avoid having somebody set me up in general, like personally.
Didn't you just say you want a woman to set you up though? Just a second ago.
If I had to choose, yeah, but like I don't want nobody to set me up with nobody. You know what I mean? Because when I dog her ass out and they like, why you do that though? She
Why you do that to my friend?
like I don't want to. I don't even want to hear that. I don't because
So
yeah.
as a man, like, is that how you feel when somebody's trying to set you up? Like, man, that means I can't even like dog this bitch out. Like, I gotta actually break up in a nice way or communicate and not ghost her.
Exactly, and every time I don't like to communicate or not ghost every time. So it's like that's just a lot to deal with. It really just is for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just strange, but yeah, for me, I would rather just not do that personally.
I think what's interesting is like the different ways that men and women set people up. Like as a woman, I feel like other women are very direct when they're trying to set me up. It's like, oh my goodness, I have this friend. I want you to meet him. And it's never a match. Like anytime that I was in that stage of life where people were trying to set me up, I would always be like, you want to set me up with who? Hell no. I'm like, you do not know me at all. Versus dudes, it's never like that. It's usually with male friends, it's the opposite. It's like meeting a friend and being like, oh, your friend's kind of cool. Like I have to be the one to be like, oh, what's up with him? And then it's more of the like subtle, like, oh, okay, let me make the intro kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that Daniel, he cool as hell. Like,
yeah,
and that's it. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what I'm gonna do with his name now, but okay. Hi, Daniel.
Like, tell me something, like. But let's talk about that though. Would that be for the better? Like, because like I said, I would want somebody to tell me, from A to Z about this person. But is it better, like Rod said, to just like get a picture and just feel it out from there, like not have no big introduction? I don't know.
Because I feel like most people in the first few seconds, they already know if they will fuck with that person anyways. So yeah, just hand me a picture.
Physically, yes. Physically,
that's all you really looking at when you first look at a person anyway. If you can't physically attract to this person, you're not gonna want to talk to them.
That's important.
Yeah, but I feel like one of the benefits of like getting set up is you get more information than just a picture. Like the picture is like the basics, like, okay, cool, they look attractive, but then they can add on the sauce with like, oh yeah, and he's super funny, like he, is into the same type of music you're into. He likes to go out to eat.
Is dudes explaining it like that?
Dudes aren't. No, not at all.
Like, ain't no dude talking about another guy like, oh, he funny as hell. He a good guy. Like, he be doing all that. Like, my guy.
And see, that's the thing is men won't say anything. It's just like, yo, that's my boy. Women will give you all those details. And then you meet the guy and it's like you lied about all of that. He's none of these things. He is not funny. He's not charming. He's none of the things that you said. He's got 6 kids by 6 different women. Like,
whose responsibility is that? If somebody's setting you up with somebody and they have kids, like should the person that's setting you up tell you, or should they wait for the person to tell you on a date?
That's nobody's business.
That's them 6 kids' business, and the person that's going to be dating them.
I mean, just dating, you don't got to go all into all those details just yet, for real.
But what are we dating for though? Like, we dating just to date, just to kick it, then okay, fine. But like at this age, we dating to find real partners to be with. So it's like I mean,
the first date, I feel like it is just kicking it and just filling it out. Like it's just the first initial date. I don't need.
Yeah.
That's when I'm really gonna figure it out.
If she tell you.
So, I had an experience with this. There was literally all the things that we just described. So, I met this guy kind of through another dude. So when I met, I was like, yo, I think your friend is like kind of checking for me. Like, what's his deal? My friend was like, oh yeah, like so-and-so, he's good people. Like he gives back to the community. Like, oh, he's cool. Like y'all vibe. Yeah, you should, make the connect. So me and the guy exchange information. We go out maybe like the next day. And before we go out, I'm like, of course I gotta do some Instagram investigation. And I go to his page and I see lots of children on the page. And I'm like, there's no way all these kids are his though. Like, there's no way. And then it'll be
Family
like 2
man.
kids in this picture, like 3 in this, like 2 teenagers here. And I'm like, no, this is not possible. No. So I'm scrolling. I'm like, eventually I get to the point, I'm like, I think these are his kids. But he didn't say anything about it. And the guy I met him through never said anything about it. So when we go out on the date, of course I had to ask, like, oh, I think he maybe said something about kids or whatever. And so I had to ask, oh, do you have any? Like, how many? He's like, yeah, I got kids. I'm like, how many? 6. Technically 7 if you count his stepson. I was like, oh, and on top of that, the guy was still legally married.
I was about to say stepson. That sounds like a obligation, a legal obligation. Like, what the fuck? So it's like, that's exactly what I said. Niggas be lying or withholding the truth. You know what I mean? Because that's not right to even put you on that path. You know what I mean? Like that's fucked up.
And he was sick when I was like,
That's
after
not
the
his
date, I was like,
fault though. Like, didn't Jermaine, you asked about like how's he doing? Like you asked about him, right?
to my
So
friend.
yeah, to the dude, you was like, what about this guy?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not his fault because Jermaine chose and he just made the connection. It's not his place to be like if it's a good dude for her or not. It's her choice to make that. Like they got to go out and see.
I, yeah, I hear you. I do think he could have given me a heads up, like, oh yeah, so and so is cool. By the way, I think he's got some kids. I'm not sure exactly how many, but like, just be prepared
If
if that's
that's your
something you're
man's,
down
you
with.
need to know that if that he has kids. Like I think like the nigga got kids and he's still legally married. Like let's be for real. You know what I mean? Like if that were me, I'd be like, you
The
don't.
married thing is a big deal. Like
It is right,
still married.
And
right.
what was crazy is like after the date, this is like years ago, such a long time ago. After the date, I let him know, I was like, hey, thanks for dinner, but like I think this is where we need to like call it quits.
Hmm.
You know, I know you're still legally married. It sounds like you got some stuff you need to like take care of.
Dang,
And he was
you
like,
real for doing that in his face. Like right after the meal, like after you paid, like good look.
and I was like, and his response was like, no, it's not that serious. Like, it's not even all that deep. Like, I got this under control. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm able to do whatever. It's just
Mm-mm.
like, sir.
Yeah, ain't
See,
nobody I just like met for the first time gonna tell me about my life. And then after I just gave him food, the drinks, like I'm pissed. Like I thought we had an all right time. All of a sudden, like this is gonna be. I'm sorry, big fella.
but
Go
that's
ahead,
a.
pack it up.
I understand where you're coming from, Rob, but that's a big burden to have to deal with as somebody. If you dating somebody, like you got 6
Big.
kids and a spouse, like what? Like I got to know about that, and I have the autonomy to be able to make the decision of like, nah, we're not doing this.
And like, he could have said it. So the day we went out on the date, he literally called me all day that day. That was already
Mm,
like red flag number 1. Like when I mean call me all the time, he just wanted to sit on the phone all day. So
mm,
we had already had lots of conversation. He easily could have been like, hey, before we go out, there's something I want to let you know about because I don't want to waste your time or my time. Like he
mm.
also had the chance to say it. And it wasn't like we only talked about it a little bit. Like most of the conversation was about his wife. Like we talked about it in depth. So he had
Mm.
to know, like, she's not fucking with it. She's not rocking with this.
Like you talking about on the phone? Wait, so he didn't tell you
No,
about nothing until the date?
yeah. So on the phone, he didn't say anything about the kids or being married.
Okay, okay.
And then when we got to the date is when we started talking about the kids. And that's when I found out he was still married.
Hmm.
And so we talked a lot about, I'm like, well, why are you getting divorced? And he gave me, all the issues that were wrong with his
See,
wife. And I'm like, you got 6 kids. Why not work it out?
that's the problem that I would have. Like if I go out on a date, I'm not trying to talk about all that.
But you're
Like
married. Like,
I'm just trying to
how do
have
you
like my
not talk
food
about it?
and like have a good time and like I'm not trying to talk about my life and go that deep. Like especially on the first date, like that's divulging a lot.
I understand where you're coming from, Rod, but you have to divulge that information. You have to, because that's stringing somebody along that don't really even know like everything
No,
about you.
it's okay to be very brief with like, yeah, I got kids, but I'm not going into like why me and my wife didn't work out, like why I got all these kids, why I'm not with her. Like I'm not like I just wouldn't divulge. Like I wouldn't go
Hmm.
that deep into it. It'd be like, That's just what it is. Like, well,
So if
the weather.
if you were in his shoes and you were separated and had kids, like when would you think it would be appropriate to like have that conversation?
Um, if we start to really get serious and start to have more dates, then it's time. As time goes, I will give more information as time goes. When I feel like it's the right time, like I feel like I will know when the right time would be.
Boy, I tell you, niggas ain't shit, man. I'm telling you, niggas do not be shit at all. This is
Be
crazy.
together like 6 months and be like, so by the way, you know I'm married, right? Like
Like,
what?
But
What?
separated though,
but still though, like you can't. Nah, man.
like we've been separated for a couple years, you know.
Oh no no no
Like
no! They had a new baby. They had not been separated for a couple years. He had like a newborn baby with this woman. That's why I was like, wait, you had a baby? And I could be wrong on the timeline, but let's say the baby was born in January and we went out in like May. It's like, dude, you just had a baby with this woman.
Like you really fresh out the pussy though, for real. Like what are you talking about?
Very.
What are we talking about here? But let me say this though.
yeah, he's slimy for that. Yeah, like you got to be home.
Yeah, like what is you like your baby like teething and shit, nigga? Like go give it a toy or something. What are you doing? Um, Let me say this though. Like if that was if my friend did that and didn't tell me all the information and I wasted my time went out on a date, I'd be like, you don't really fuck with me like that, to be honest. Like for to set me up like that and like really put me on that path. Like I'm like, are you my real friend? Like that's how I would feel.
Mm-hmm.
Cause it's
Oh
like, god
yeah.
damn. Like
What if you knew the person is fun at least? They just felt like, hey, I feel like you need to get out because you always in the house and just get your feet wet and be amongst people. Like, oh yeah, this person right here, I quit. Like why not?
no. With this big burden? No, like let me put me with somebody else that I can have fun with that's single in the same situation as me. That's like that I vibe with, not somebody like no.
I get what you're saying, Rod. I think if that's the case, I still feel like you should give the caveat. Like, yo, I want to set you up with this person just for fun. Like, I don't
Right.
want you to think this is gonna be like your future wife or your husband or whatever. Like, this is just gonna be somebody fun to kick it, go out, get drunk, have a blast. But they got some baggage.
I guess, but then don't come to the date talking about if they gonna pay or not. Like if we gonna be have fun, like we having fun on like separate bills.
hmm
Damn. I mean,
Like we not having a date, then we just kicking it.
I mean, that'll probably be financially more sound because I mean he got 6 kids to pay for and a motherfucking a wife, so it's like yeah, like split this up, split the bill down the middle. But let's talk about this though. So like I said, like I said, if that was my friend that set me up, I'd be like, damn, like you're not really cool with me like that. So it's like I kind of want to talk about friendships in general and stuff like that, and just seeing what kind of bonds or what in y'all experience through life, like what has really bonded you with your friends in life. Has it been traumatic experience that y'all went through? Has it just been like, oh, y'all always just used to turn up together, so like that's what it was? Or was it just having a real moment, like a real heart to heart moment that really bonded y'all together? Do y'all have any examples, or do y'all have any thoughts on like what really bonds you to your friends like that?
yeah. All the above, really. I definitely think like it can be as simple as just having a heart to heart. Like you have a good heart to heart with anybody and it changes things. Like I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this with like a coworker, but like somebody who like you really aren't even all that cool with and somehow you get in a deep ass conversation, like especially at an inappropriate place like work, and next thing you know, you're like, wow, like I really fuck with you.
Yeah,
I think it can be as simple as that, but I also think what like really makes friendships deep is when you can have like layers to it, where it's like, yes, we've had heart to hearts, but also like we have experiences together, we have memories together, we've done stuff, done things together. We can go back and be like, yo, you remember this time, or hey, this
mhm.
situation happened, and I saw how this person showed up for me. I think all of those things adds up to make a good friend.
No, I definitely agree with that. Let me speak on one of my situations, one of my friendships. One time I was, doing my college thing up at Western Michigan, getting too more drunk than I should have been, to be honest. So I was up at Western Michigan, and I was with a big group of people. Like, so it was kind of strange, but I think I just went outside to maybe smoke a black and mild or some shit. Terrible times. Don't judge me. Smoking a black and mild, and then one of my friends came out there, right? And what happened recently is like another one of our friends died actually, and so like
Oh wow.
we was having a conversation about that, and like we literally sat there and cried like at the bar, like we was really drunk as hell at the bar, just crying together because it was like we really, like that's tough to go through. Like your friend that you just with the other day just died and shit like that. And I say all that to say is like that really bonded us like for life. And we had that conversation like
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago when I seen him. I was like, bro, like that's some of the shit. Like I'll never forget that because you don't just be crying in front of everybody. Like, that's just not,
Mm-hmm.
especially as a man. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things in my experience that's really bonded me to my friend like that. And
Yeah.
on top of that, like you said, other shit like memories, the things that you really went through, just like, and like you said, showing up for people, like that's important too. Like if you needed something,
Mm-hmm.
they was really there for you. Like those are the friendships that you need to keep. You know what I mean? So
And I think is in this example, like the one you gave, is seeing how people handle situations like that. Like you were able to cry in front of this person and see how like it made your relationship get closer. Your friendship got deeper instead of it being like, damn, now it's kind of awkward when I see this person. Like, they act a little funny now. All of those things change the friendship. That's why, like, I hate the phrase best friends.
mhm,
I hate when people are like, this is my best friend. We've been best friends for this long because life changes, circumstances changes, you have different experiences. And through some of those experiences, you might see like, hey, maybe this person wasn't as solid as I thought, or maybe we're just in two different places in our lives and now we've kind of drifted apart. Or the opposite, you find somebody else really showed up for you in a time of need, and now this person has, you know, really taken hold of you, and like you've developed a different closeness than you had with the original quote unquote best friend.
mhm. Yeah, that's interesting that you said that because I don't think I ever called anybody my best friend because I don't think I ever had a best friend. I have good friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But best, like I feel like it's like
It's so definitive.
it is, and it's like the MySpace top 8. Like it's always, we always used to change it because like different people gonna be in your top 8. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I can't button nobody to be like that's my best friend because I feel like that's only one. Like you have
Yeah.
you have one husband and one wife. Like you have one best friend, but that's not realistic. I don't know.
So I mean, going back to your original question, um,
Hmm.
I think that every friendship is different.
For sure.
So it's not really levels to the friendship necessarily for me. But I feel like if I went through ups and downs with you and we were still cool, then that's what I probably would consider a friend. Somebody that you went had an up and down with. Because like I feel like when everything's going good, like things always seem to go okay in the relationship or just any type of relationship with anyone. But like you have to actually go through something, not necessarily traumatic or just it could be emotionally like or something that happened with them and their friends or families or whatever. It could be
Hmm.
it could have been traumatic. It could have been something between y'all. Y'all just had a big riff, um, and then able were to just get over that and eventually talk it out or get over it and still be like cool and stuff. Like having those balances, like of up and down with the person, and along with time, I think builds a friendship.
Hmm. And that's tough though, especially if you're friends with somebody that you can't really communicate all the things that you're feeling towards that person. You know what I mean? Like that's not really a friendship that can really last because is a lot of shit is harbored. You know what I mean? Like a lot of shit is like I don't like I feel some type of way about bruh, but I'm not even gonna say nothing. You know what I mean? Like type of shit like that. So open communication is key. I think that's the key in any type of relationship in general.
Yeah,
Um,
I kind of got the question of when you fell out with someone, do y'all ever like work on it? And have you ever really worked on a relationship like with a friend?
nah, I remember this one time in college. It was this one dude that everybody was cool with in the group, and like I just remember, I think I like went to his crib one time and I just told him like, bro, I don't really fuck with you like that. Like, and that was the end of the friendship, like literally right there. And so it's not something that I feel like is work onable. You know what I mean? You might as well just move on. Like, there's plenty of people to be friends with out here. So it's like, what's the point in
What was the point of going to his crib and saying that? Like,
I don't know what the fuck I was on, man. I don't know why I did that. I really
Like
don't understand
you
why I
had
did that.
you had to let him know in his face. Like
Yeah, like like 10 toes down type shit. Like I can't even just like I
I
said,
respect it.
yeah, like I ain't like I said, you don't want to harbor things, you know what I mean? So it's like if I really felt this type of way, like I kind of have to tell you, like, bro, I don't really rock with you like that.
I agree. I told someone that for sure. Like that was only one time. I was like, yeah, in his face. I was just like, yeah, I don't rock with you.
That's crazy. Like I don't know. Like I look back on it like now, and I'd be like, why did I say that though? I could have just like not texted him back and not called him or something. Like, why did I have to do that?
What was his
Communication.
response? Like
Uh,
I don't even know how you respond to somebody saying that. Like,
I can't remember. I want to say it was something like, really, like why or something like that. It was one of them type of things. I don't think it was any type of animosity or anything like that. But I just left. And I don't think I ever talked to that nigga ever again, to be honest. And I think Rod know who I'm talking about too.
I have no idea who you're talking about. Actually,
Okay, never mind. All right.
yeah,
Okay. All right. But no, go
it
ahead.
must have been years ago because I have no idea who you're talking about.
That was college years, like probably early. But yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, going back to Rod's question about like working on it. Um, I've been on both sides of the coin. Like I definitely, feel what you were saying, Matt, about like there's a lot of people in the world to be friends with. If somebody to me is like a fucked up person, or we just maybe they're not even fucked up, we just don't see eye to eye. Like we just have different priorities, different ways that we choose to move. I don't necessarily feel the need to like get this person to understand how I'm feeling or to change this person. Like you're who you are, I'm who I am. If it's not going to be a match, that's okay in my opinion to like let the friendship pass. And I've definitely had some friendships where like big issues happen and we fell out and like that was just it. That was the end of the friendship. We never spoke again. And I've also been on the other side of the coin of like, okay, this is somebody I do actually want in my life. And even though we have bumps in the road, I'm going to put effort into this friendship in terms of like trying to learn how to communicate with this person, trying to see things from this other person's side of things, like having hard conversations, also figuring out like what are ways that I could be a better friend to this person. And honestly, just being a better friend in general. And honestly, I feel like friendships are like, I really like romantic relationships. Like you get in what you put out. If you want better results, sometimes you have to be a better friend. If I feel like I'm doing that and the relationship still isn't getting better, then at that point, I'm probably going to be like, all right.
And what does that look like? What actionable items are you doing to make a friendship better? Would you say that you did?
Yeah. So, a couple things just for me personally. One is I am very, I'm going to be honest, I'm not the first texter. Not that I like have any like pride against it. Like somebody will cross my mind. I'll be like, oh, I wonder how so and so's doing. And I won't check up on them. It's nothing
Facts.
personal. I just like, this is how I am. And so I've tried to certain people be better about like, damn, like she always texts me first. So I'm going to make a point, even if I got to make a calendar reminder to like once a week or once every 2 weeks to like call or text this person, doing stuff like that, trying to remember. Some of this makes me sound like, I don't know, maybe I'm a shitty person. I don't know. But like trying to be intentional about remembering people's birthdays and like sending people texts on their birthdays or like sending like small little gifts to people who like I don't get to see all the time because they live, don't live around. Just remembering what's going on in people's lives and being like, oh shit, she started a new job last week. Let me text her and see how that's going. So just like doing stuff like that. I think especially in
Mhm.
adulthood, it's easy to be like out of sight, out of mind. Personally, like we all got our own stuff going on, and so for me, it's a lot about like being more top of mind about what's going on in other people's worlds. Not only calling people when I got shit to talk about, calling them just to like see how they're doing, stuff
Mhm.
like that.
No, that's real. I'm the exact same way, except for I don't actively try to put in the work to change my ways. I'm just like, shit, I'm never gonna talk to him again. Then. Fuck it. Like at this point, like, I'm never gonna hear from them ever. Oh, and I don't know what it is. Like I said, like you said, it's not really a pride thing. It's just like it's literally exactly what you explained. It's the same thing. Like people cross my mind, but I'm not like, oh, let me open my phone and like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean. So I don't know what it is though. I don't know what that is, but like I think that all in all, to wrap this up is like friendships or just other
I
types of
mean,
relationships? Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna add one more thing.
Sure.
I feel like it's just like any relationship. Like the people who do deserve like a chance. Like if they do fuck up, you should give them a chance. You should, because people learn and people grow from their mistakes. Like
Hmm.
sometimes people don't understand that they may be a bothersome to you, or they irritate you a certain way, or certain things about them like you don't like, because like you put on the facade that everything's cool and you laugh and joke and stuff with them, and then like in a Matt case, like just one day you just be like, oh, I don't fuck with you. Like it just be
Hmm.
like, like I can
Yeah.
understand like giving people person a chance and letting them know, but like, hey, like I'm really not like fucking with this, or like blah blah blah, and just like letting them know, at least give them like at least a chance to see how they're gonna respond to it. It's like communicating in that way, like just ending something just like blatantly. Just I feel like it's just a weird thing that people should do. Like I feel like people should have more grace.
Agreed. I think that it's funny that we have so much grace for romantic partners, but we don't have it in friendships. Like with a romantic partner, you'll give them, particularly women, will give guys so much chance to like change, or like, oh, he's had this trauma and that's why he does this or does that because of his childhood. But with friendships, we expect all of our friends to be as emotionally mature, to be as available to us as we want them to be, to understand our needs without us having to tell them, to, be forgiving and patient with us when we make mistakes. Like, but we don't do any of those same things about like, oh, well, she actually has some childhood trauma. Her mom didn't teach her these things. Or,
Hmm.
maybe her parents had a chaotic relationship and that's why she's chaotic in her friendships, or she's an anxious attacher and that's why she texts me, 15 times a day. We need to like also think about those things in terms of friendships too.
No, I totally agree, and I think that, yeah, I do think that some grace can be shown, but at the same time, is there things there are some unforgivable things though,
Oh, for
where it's
sure.
like I can't really rock with you like that at all.
Most
Like
definitely.
if they
For sure.
mess with your partner, if they backdoor you, if they steal from you, like it's certain things where it's like it can't really be worked on. Like, do y'all feel that same way?
Hell yeah. Like to me, blatant disrespect is a no. Like there's like, oh, maybe you didn't know this was disrespectful. Maybe this you didn't know this was rude. But when you are blatantly, intentionally disrespectful to me, we have nothing to talk about.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and then they not remorseful of it at all. That's
Hmm.
be like, all right.
That shit piss me off. Like, oh, so you would just don't fuck with me at all then? Okay, all right.
Yeah, they just walk
No.
around like everything good. You be like what the fuck?
Like, bro, you just really screwed me out of my money or something. Like, bro, like, you don't care. Like, all right,
You
got
want me
something
to
for you.
fake that you care? That's what kills me. At least fake that you care. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, dog.
like what? Like, come
Like I
on, man.
like I was going through something and some shit happens. Like you just walking around like just smiling, like just skipping over the whole situation. 'Cause I've had like crazy people, and I just think those kind of people are just something's mentally wrong with them.
Yeah,
Yep.
now that's a different story. That's a different story for a different podcast. But we gonna get into that at some point. But all right. I want to ask this one more thing because this kind of a detour. But I've been thinking about this lately. Like, how do y'all feel about the fact that people talk about you when you're not there? Like sometimes that bothers me because I be wanting to know like what do people say when I'm not there about me? You know what I mean? Like particularly I'm thinking about like at work. Like what's the type of shit that they say when I'm not there? Like or even your friends sometimes. Like if you're friends with a whole friend group but they hang out without you, like what do they say
Mm.
about you? Like is that the type of shit that y'all worry about sometimes? Or am I just like off my rocker, which is possible?
I'm laughing because when you first started, I was like, I don't know if I've ever done that before. But I thought about it more. I definitely have. I actually had an incident recently where uh, a friend of a friend, like me and this person don't know each other, but this other person was like, oh yeah, I've heard so much about you. And like they knew certain things about me. And I was like, oh, this means that like this person has talked to you about me.
Hmm.
And yeah, it did make me feel a little bit self-conscious about like, oh, well, what was said about me,
Like extensively. Like how you know all this?
I mean,
Yeah.
it could have been good things.
it could have been. It's just that's how like the human mind works, is that it automatically goes to something negative, because it absolutely could have been great things, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And at work, that did used to really they give me a lot of anxiety at work for sure. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, especially when I knew that people were talking. Like I had a friend of mine who was in like a more senior role, and I remember there was a time where like he came to me and was like, yo, I was just in this meeting and so said this. And I responded back with this, like, I had your back, da 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 da. But at the same time, it was like, damn, I didn't even want to know that they were like
Mm-hmm.
talking about me, or that they were analyzing these things about me.
Right. Because it's not like they're gonna come back and be like, "Oh, hey, Jermaine, actually, we were just in this meeting. I mentioned you. You know, I said A, B, and C." Like, they're not gonna tell you that. They're gonna look in your face like, "Shit, cool." Like, "Oh, hey, how you doing today?"
Yeah. I was like,
That's
you got some fucking nerve.
yeah, like that's what gives me anxiety. Is like people not real when it come down to that. So it's like motherfuckers are smiling in
Yeah,
your
they
face.
do.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, but you ain't like keep it 1,000. Like if you really feel like I'm not as productive or whatever it was said, like tell me so I can
Yep.
smack the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
you know, like that.
And the difference with me is like the guy who said it at that time, I also didn't like him either.
Mm-hmm.
But for better or worse, this could be one of my toxic traits. If I don't like you, I'm letting you know. And so he knew I didn't fuck with him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if I already don't fuck with you, we can just be open about not fucking with each other and giving each other very raw feedback. Like, like you said, you don't think I'm being productive? Cool, tell me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, I feel like I feel like that could open up the relationship or the coworkership to like maybe be stronger because like I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you know what I'm saying, like all that shit. So it's like let's just coexist, and this is like now we don't got to walk on eggshells and shit like that. Like that's how it should be, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But
And it's funny because we ended up getting kind of cool later. Like, I would never call him a friend, but we ended up like getting cool later because stuff like that happens. Like you said, like you kind of realize you don't fuck with each other. You get that out of the way. And then that allows you to actually be very honest with each other. Um,
mhm.
but yeah, just the way he went about it was not cool.
You know what's interesting is like sometimes when we be like I don't fuck with you, we don't really know them not to fuck with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once you break down them walls and be like, I don't fuck with you, and it's like, oh, now I'm getting to learn about who you are now because we broke down that wall. So it's like, okay, you know what, you cool. You know what I mean? Or like you straight, like you know what I mean? So I
Yep.
don't know. Those are the things that go through my mind at work.
And oh, now you got me really dumb memory lane. So now I'm going to get more about this story. But
Okay.
like, he was a white man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I felt some way about like, yo, this white guy is trying to talk about like how I'm showing up at work, and he didn't know I had a lot of like personal issues going on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so like really pissed me off because it's like my manager knows what's going on. My close coworkers who I work with, like my sales partner, knows what's going on. And you have an issue with it because you don't know what's going on. And like you felt, I kind of at the time I had to attitude, like you feel the need to be entitled to know what's going on in my life when it has nothing to do with you.
I'm gonna push back a little bit on that. Is that his fault for not knowing? But you say you were showing up a certain way, and him not knowing your issue. Why is it? It's not necessarily his fault for being like, "Hey, why is she doing that?"
But he could have, well, it actually didn't have anything to do with him. That's why. So I'll give an example. So I used to come to work early. I would work from like 8 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
I would be literally the very first person in the office. So because I was the first person in the office, actually, I didn't get there like 7:30 sometimes. I would leave first. So I would leave at like 4:45, like right at 5 o'clock. And so he had an issue because he would always come in late. He would come in at 10 o'clock and then he would stay until 7.
Mm-hmm.
And so his narrative was like, oh, Jermaine doesn't work as long, da 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 da, and I'm working on these long hours. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, but I'm the first person in the office. I'm here 2 hours before you get in.
Did you hear that from him?
I heard that from our friend, our mutual person.
It's like, bro, you're not even here to see me come in the office, but you telling me I'm not working. Like, what are you talking about? Come on, man.
And my manager was like, hey, as long as you work 8 hours, I don't really care what the 8 hours are. So you can come in early and leave early if that's what you prefer. And that's just when I work best. So it was like you're talking about something that literally has no effect on you as a person, but you're trying to portray it differently than what it actually even is.
5 p.m. is
So
late. He started this shit.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was working more than 8 hours, technically.
Doing your thing, but niggas be hating. It's like, I think this
Hating
is just
ass.
to wrap it all up and put a bow on it. I feel like the whole thing is like you don't know what people be going through. You know what I'm saying? So before you pass judgment and say like, oh, this, that, and the third, like, it, but the thing is though, Jermaine is like, you wasn't even close enough to him to even tell him about your situation. So it's like you gotta let people just judge you based off what they know. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the fucked up thing is like you really don't know what's going on, but you're not gonna know because I don't fuck with you like that. So I'm not gonna tell you what's going on. So you just gotta judge me, and I gotta take it how it is. But I think that people should just know people be going through shit, man. Like that's really the long and the short of it. But other than that, let's go ahead and get into this next topic. Damn, we was on that for a long time though. Damn.
Yeah, talking about judging.
Mm-hmm.
Young Thug, man, just dropped Business is Business. And it's the front cover, it's him in front of the judge. It's some
Mm-hmm.
nice artwork. And he dropped right after Gunna's release last week. And it seems a little weird. Like it seemed like he's trying to step on Gunna's success. Is that what he tried to do with the album, you think?
You know, it's convenient. The timing is convenient, right? Like it's like literally right afterwards. Like, that's interesting.
1 week.
Um,
And it's your
like
label mate?
right.
You're
Yes.
an artist.
Yeah, your artist, your label mate, and it's like, that's interesting. But I'll shoot him some bail because it's summertime. People trying to drop music for summer anthems. Like Lil Uzi just dropped, Rilo
Mhm.
Rodriguez just dropped, Travis Scott dropping soon, like Drake dropping soon. So it's like it's time to drop. I would say Lil Durk just dropped, like so it's like
I
I
mean,
don't know.
given his situation, it's like we didn't need music from Young Thug right now.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it is him stepping on the release. Like that's definitely a portion of it, but I think the bigger thing is it's a cash grab. And if your album comes out so close to Gunna's, it's gonna boost the streams of Gunna's project. It's gonna boost the stream of Thug's project, and ultimately, he's the one who reaps the rewards of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he needs all the money he can get right now. So
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
guess in terms of
business is
market, that might be
business.
smart.
Because
But
I had listened to A Gift and a Curse when it first dropped, and I didn't really go back to it. And then when Thug's album came out, I played that, and then went and played Gift and a Curse again to compare the two.
Mm. Damn, that's
what
see.
you think?
Oh, I think to be honest, the replay value on both projects is not very high for
Mm-mm.
me. Um, the the second Drake track on Thug's album was kind of a standout. What was it? Let me look at the title. It's "Oh We Do" or something like that.
Oh, I like. Oh, you been. Oh, you been. Yeah, that shit was hard. I like that one.
Uh-huh.
That was the best one to me too.
Oh, you heard
Um,
it?
Yeah, I heard the Thug. Yeah.
and for Gunna's album, one of the little songs I keep hearing the snippet on TikTok. That part was dope. Whatever song that is, that I can't remember, but I don't see myself really running back to the Gunna project. It wasn't bad.
I think both were kind of mid, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I haven't liked the Gunna project in a while though, to be honest. Like,
same. The past like two or three have not hit.
hmm personally, like, I mean, I fuck with, like, I hopped on the Gunna train to probably like Drip season 2, like the one where it was like that green cover.
Yeah, with
Um,
Carsick.
yeah, Carsick was on there. Top
Fire.
Off, all that shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
since then, he probably dropped the one where he was underwater was hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Thug been kind of shaky a little bit too lately. I did like that pink one, whatever that pink one was called. Oh, Punk, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So to me, like Jermaine said, there's not really a lot of replay value for me on this one. I did like
Well,
that
you
Drake.
said the last two albums you didn't really mess with from Gunna, but you said you
Yeah,
liked Wanna.
one of was okay. One of was okay. I still do listen to songs from there, but like as a full body of work, not really rocking with it like that
I mean,
personally.
his last project before DS4 or ever.
Right. Yep. I didn't
And
like
then
that one.
before that, Drip or Drown too.
Zipper John. That's
Drip
the
Down 2 was
that's
one
the
of those
underwater
ones.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when he
Okay.
was underwater.
Okay.
I,
Um.
to be real,
Go ahead.
I don't really know what y'all talking about. And like I've been playing this Gunna album back to back to back since it dropped.
For
Like
real?
every song on this
Yeah.
shit is hard. Like
Hmm.
every last like the
Okay.
transitions, his verses. Like I feel like this is probably Gunna's best album. Like he's actually saying shit when I feel like normally like the way he raps, it's normally just cash, money. He's not really
Girls.
saying it's not really saying much about him and his life. So given
Hmm.
that this album is that, and it still has the bop and the beat and how he's able to mesh those two, I
Hmm.
that's why I think this is his best project in terms of him rapping.
I
Do
might
we?
have to run it back then. Okay.
Yeah, I think I might actually do that. But do we want that from Gunna? Do we want
I do.
vulnerable Gunna?
I
You
love this
do?
album.
Hmm.
Like I definitely want Vulnerable Gunna more. Like more into like how he thinks and like it ain't got to be so much about his situation what he's going through now. I'm gonna hear more about him and like more introspective, just more deep raps. Like I feel like he did a very good job on this, and this being only a project of no features,
Hmm.
I feel like he did a great job.
For sure.
There's like 10, 15 features. You got the top producers
Future,
in the world, Drake
Uzi,
on 2
everybody. Yeah.
songs.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like they
No,
sold the same pretty much. So
literally.
that
And I think that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, not to go back to our last topic too much, but we talked a lot about friendship and what makes a friendship, what bonds a friendship. I think obviously the narrative between the two albums is really interesting because we know that Gunna is Thug's artist, but I think we all thought they were friends too. And obviously, with everything that's been going down, it's clear that like business is business, as Thug said.
Hmm.
I think their next two projects or the next project that both of them release, I think will be more interesting even. Like I'm curious to hear how Gunna like obviously how he's able to move is going to be different these days, like what artists he's able to work with, what producers is going to be very different. I think things are still so fresh that like he talked about a little bit on this album, but I really want to hear him like a year or two out talk about what his life looks like the same way that
Hmm.
like once Thug is finally home, like what his new music is actually going to sound like.
Hmm.
I feel like Young Thug, he hasn't really spoke on it. Like it wasn't only Gunna who took pleas; it was multiple YSL and people he thought was
Yeah.
family. So I haven't heard Thug really speak on it, and on his album he didn't even speak on it. It's just a bunch of. It seemed like a bunch of old tracks he had in the
Mm-hmm.
stash. There wasn't. He ain't saying nothing. So it's hard to know how he feels in the relationship he still has with those people.
Right. But it's probably for the best that he doesn't say anything because it's
Yeah.
still active. You know what I mean? It has been like if you pay attention to Reddit, like I do, like people around him. I'm not gonna say names, but people around him are saying things and making insinuations about how he feels and how he really feels about the Gunna and all the Alfred pleas. But I don't know who to trust about that shit. And
Which
also,
is
it's,
what do they say he feels?
um, basically they saying like,
Hurt.
yeah, you could say that. You could say that. Like, basically, like there was no conversation about it, and like it just happened, and like niggas didn't really consult him about doing it. They just did it and shit like that. Like I've heard that narrative been tweeted by certain people. You know what I mean? That's close to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, like it
So shoot,
seems
if my life is on the line, I don't know if I gotta consult you. Listen, best of luck.
a
Yeah, the DA wants you, not me. I'm getting out of here.
Exactly.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I feel that. That's totally valid. I feel that. I think maybe this title should be the title of this episode should be Grace because I'm gonna give Gunna grace and because usually I wouldn't want to hear no introspective shit from Gunna, but maybe he got something to say that's more interesting than what he's been saying. So I'm gonna run that shit back and see what that shit is hitting for. Um, now, damn, more jail shit, man, more jail shit. So Casanova, what he got? 15 years.
Yep.
Yeah, so Casanova the rapper, nigga was talking about everybody get shot. If y'all ever heard that song, he got 15 years, and then Taxstone got he got football numbers like 30 something, 35 years.
35.
And shout out to Taxstone because Taxstone
New York,
has, yeah, these New York
down
man,
bad.
nah, for real. Taxstone used to have a great podcast called Tax Season. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, like that's one of my favorite podcasts ever. So it just sucks to not have that voice out here, and it won't be out here for years and stuff like that. But
He didn't do nothing in jail. Didn't he? Was he talking and stuff?
he did. No, he did. He did like
Did
a
you hear
couple
that?
from jail. Hmm. It wasn't the same though, because like the audio was just like not it. Like it's a jail phone, so it's like it's not the same. But I don't know. I guess I wanted to have this discussion about these types of things, and I know that Casanova's girl said something about she gonna hold him down for the 15 and woo woo.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of wanted to see like what's your thoughts on that? Like, is that? And I don't want to speak on that relationship, but we gonna do it anyway. Is that foolish to be like I'm gonna hold somebody down that's gonna be in jail for a decade plus? Like that's seems a little short sighted
How
to
long
me.
was Gucci in jail? Was he less than 10 years? Was it 7, 8?
Definitely less than 10, probably like 3 or 4, maybe.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
15 though, man, that's a long time. Like you grown. Like your perspective on life should have changed in 15 years. Like who
Hmm.
you are. Um, and for someone who's stuck in a prison system, who is like their mind is pretty much being stalled, it's just gonna be that's a hard transition. I feel
Yeah.
like maybe after a few years, 5 years, maybe she can hold out. But then I think she's gonna like start to have feelings for other people, even probably even a little bit before then. But like I can see after 5 year mark, it's gonna be very hard. Maybe they can still keep a great friendship,
Hmm.
and she can put on his books and like hold him down that way as a good friend.
Send us some
But
pictures.
yeah, just being completely alone, no relationship, and just no connection at all for 15 years from someone,
Hmm.
that's very difficult.
It seems like it would be, and you made a great point that I didn't even think about. Like this nigga gonna be, or anybody in jail that's 10, 15, 20, 30 years, like they probably gonna get stagnant with the way they think because they not seeing how the world moving, and the
Yeah.
world is moving so fast, faster than it's ever moved before in this like AI. Like y'all see the AI shit, like this shit moving. So like it's basically, what I'm saying, like his personality is gonna be like the equivalent of a tall T. You know what I mean? Like it's just gonna be like, bro, like you not moving with me. So like how can we really even salvage that relationship? Now some people go to jail and they like learn shit and they get their degree, they turn Muslim, you know what I'm saying, all that type of shit. But most of the time I feel like it's stagnant, and it's hard to stay in a relationship with somebody that's stagnant, right?
Yeah. So I was watching a video of hers. They've been together a long time, like since she was in high school.
Oh.
Casanova's 36. I was trying to figure out how old she is. I don't know if she's like also in her like 30s or like if she's younger than him, but
Hmm.
she's been with him for a long time. Um, it was interesting. I saw a video of her on TikTok where she was like talking about how they used to do robberies together, which I was like, I don't know if you should be on social media confessing to crimes, but it's whatever. But one of the things that she talks about in that video was like, he would do these shorter biz, a year here, 4 months here, 3 years. And she's held him down already through those bids. So I think she's just become accustomed to that lifestyle of like, yo, he might go away for a while.
Hmm.
Um, I feel similarly though, like if I was with a man for 15 years or with the man, let's say they've been together for 10 years
Hmm.
and he got 15 years, like I don't know if I could promise to wait, but I could promise to like hold him down, quote unquote, in some aspects in terms of like, I'm going to make sure there's money on your books. I'm going to call you. I think Rod, you said it perfectly, like have a friendship. I'm going to call you. I'll come see you here and there. I'll send you some pictures. Like I'm not going to let you feel like nobody on the outside cares about you or that nobody's checking on you and nobody cares what's going on with you. I want you to still feel cared about because every human deserves that.
Yeah.
But like to not have any romantic interest for 15 years is a long time. It's kind of selfish too if he like expects her to not have a man in her life in 15 years.
Yeah,
But
unless you just going to the jail and just having sex with them in the cell.
you got to be married, I think.
I think so.
Like conjugal visits, I think you got to be like on paper
Mm,
married, and they might. I mean, if they've been together for so long, that they might just do that so they can do that. So
yeah.
They're
yeah,
gonna
I
have
do.
to.
Yeah, I mean, if they want that shit to last, but jail and prison different now because niggas be having phones and shit. Like niggas be on live in jail.
Man, I see it every day.
Yeah,
And then I bet they have a good ass time too.
which is crazy. Like, y'all having a good time in jail. Like, shouldn't y'all be reflecting on? Okay,
It's not the same though. It's not being outside.
it's not.
Just because you just sitting on your phone and eating snacks all day. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. There's more to life than that.
it
Like,
is.
after a while, it's like, all right, I don't know. It's just like y'all not just sitting on the block every day, just laughing it up and joking around. Like
Mm,
you can't really move around, go place to place, go out. Like every night's just niggas like that.
mm. It's
Like even
damn
on
near
the
like a
weekends.
yeah, like just all men, just all testosterone every day. Niggas getting shanked, stabbed, and shit. Like that's a damn. I don't never want to go there. I never want to go there, but it's almost like a long distance relationship a little bit though. But you just never get to see him. Like, cause you could probably still FaceTime if you got iPhones in jail. Like, you could probably still do that, but you just never get to hold and feel that person. Like, I could
Yeah,
see
I
it
mean, but you
maybe
can go take a
lasting.
trip.
I was gonna
Like,
say, like, even in the longest of long distance relationships, you're gonna see each other at least once a year and get to, hey, we're gonna see each other for a week and touch and hold
Mm-hmm.
hands and kiss and have sex and whatever. Like, you don't even, you gotta hold out for 15 years to do that. Like, ooh.
Should be invest in some roses.
Shoot, she's gonna look different when he gets out. He's gonna look different. Like 15 years, your body changes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that
yeah, I
is
mean, he
true.
definitely working out. Like I saw the picture of him.
Yeah.
That dude is again, he just working out every day. That's what it looked like. I saw
Shit,
that
ain't
cut
nothing
on his
missing.
face. I was
Oh,
like,
shit, he
damn.
got $150.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was like, that's crazy. Like, you got out the gang and still like got 15.
Ladies, this is a testament to why you don't need to fuck with street niggas. Come fuck with a regular nigga like me.
Mhm.
We don't be on none of that shit. You don't got to worry about me going to jail. I don't be doing no illegal shit. You know what I'm saying? Just consider it.
Exactly. You
Consider
can
it.
go eat brunch.
With Rod, I don't eat brunch because that shit is. I don't understand brunch these days. Um, but nah. Yeah. Other than that, I think shit. We might as well go ahead and wrap this shit up. We exhausted all the topics, so let's get into some highlights for the week. What y'all got to highlight for the people this week?
I can't remember if we've talked about this yet, but the new season of The Bear. Have
Mm-hmm.
we talked about that?
Nah, I don't think so. But I just started it though.
Season 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I haven't started yet. That's my plan for this weekend is to catch up. It's dope that they're now doing it, all on Hulu and now you can binge it. So I'm very excited to get into that.
Mm-hmm.
That season is fire. The Bear is probably one of my favorite shows.
It's
Great
really
show.
good.
Like I didn't even realize the black guy who's the baker is Lionel, like from Our Future.
Yeah.
I had no
Oh,
idea, but he
Mm-hmm.
does a great job in this second season. Like how they highlight the other people in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really good. But I'm gonna go ahead and highlight. I'm gonna say Lil Uzi Vert, Pink Tape. I mean, it's an hour and a half. I haven't really got through all of it yet, but what I did get through, it seems smooth. It's definitely relatable to his style, and I feel like Playboy Cardi style is high energy. And I really like the cover. It reminds me of Green Day, American Idiot back in the day.
Mm.
How they were in front of the flag. I feel like he did a play on that, and it has like a punk rock kind of feel along with like rock in his style. So yeah, I really fuck with this album, and so far, so shout out to Lil Uzi Vert, Pink Tape.
Yeah, that's such a long listen though. Like I would
I
just
keep trying to get through it.
you haven't finished the whole thing yet.
Mm-mm.
I will say that Don Toliver song probably the best song on there so far.
Agreed.
The song is really good. Just to speak on that a little bit, I think this is Lil Uzi's whole lot of red, if that makes sense. Like it's similar
I
length,
agree.
like
They
rock,
sound,
very rock influence, like
yeah, they definitely tapping into like a similar audience, which they always have. Their music always kind of been a little similar in style. I mean, I can't wait until they drop the tape together if they still gonna plan to do that. That'll be dope to see.
that would be interesting to hear. Yeah. This week, let me highlight one of my favorite YouTubes that I came across recently, a YouTube channel by somebody named Maya. It's called Maya's Muses, or excuse me, Maya Muses. So has a lot of different type of content, but she does like content about cults and stuff like that, and just kind of breaking down like what happened with the cult, like going through whole stories with it. And I don't know. I think she's super intelligent, funny, and I just think that the cult shit is kind of interesting, just to like learn like how do people fall into these traps. You know what I mean? So check out Maye Muses. Check out that little Uzi Vert. Check out that new season of The Bear on Hulu. And other than that, if you made it this far, we appreciate you
Yes,
for
sir.
listening. And we about to be out of here. This is the Friends Podcast, and we out. Peace out.
Bye.